Hey guys, Kyle with Mainville ATV and Off-Road. Just wanted to touch base on a few things. I'm getting ready for a trail maintenance weekend, and I just wanted to talk about some basics that you might want to carry with you when you're out on the trail. So we're going to be touching base on a few things. What I'm going to be carrying, nothing too crazy, just a basic kit that pretty well anyone can have. This isn't going to break the bank or anything if you've already gone this far into an ATV. This is stuff that you probably already have, or things to consider anyway. So I'd like to start with your basics. I'm a firm believer in making sure you have the right equipment, so a helmet's always good. Goggles in case you got a buddy in front of you throwing rocks at you or whatever have you. So, I mean, this is a pretty simple basic stuff, but I like to say that, you know, wear the gear for the job. So in this case, you know, keeping safe isn't such a bad idea, especially when you're dealing with big machines like these. So what I've got here is my Can-Am kit. This is your basic tool set that you get. I've added a few things here, like for Can-Am specifically, we've got this secondary bolt. What this does is separates your secondary so you can get a belt on and off just in case. I know this machine isn't very typical for changing belts in the bush, but I've had some luck. You got to carry a few tools with you, and these generally do it. In my scenario with the Outlander XMR, I usually tend to carry a 1/4-inch ratchet and a wobble extension, something fairly long just because some of the bolts are in tight spots. And you carry an 8mm or a Phillips head screwdriver. So I tend to pack this up with me just in case. But some tools to consider while you're out there. You never know when it's going to happen, depending on your maintenance schedule and how you like to run things. One of my other favorite tools is a general purpose Gerber, and I don't have to explain how this can come into use, you know, day to day or on the trail or whatever have you. So this one here has done me well, and I'm glad to have it for sure. For myself, I got a bunch of GoPro stuff and make sure I can watch you guys and get you some video on the road, and a small hatchet. This helps with a couple limbs that are hanging over the trail or whatever you've got going on. A lot of them you can break by hand, but sometimes they're fresh and green drooping over the trail, so you can get those off. And so the biggest thing, and I just picked this up here, is I know a lot of guys are using tiger tails and fancy stuff, and that's all good, and maybe one day I'll have one, but to keep the budget a little lower, I've got this tow rope here, and it's a little bit overkill for this scenario, but it's worth 19,000 pounds. It's 20 feet long, so hooking that up to your front winch and pulling your buddy out, or the other case, and what I really bought it for, is with this Smitty-built receiver piece here. So I can hook up and have that tow guys out. So this here is quite a bit cheaper than something like your tiger tail or whatever have you. So yes, it's a little bit of manual work and not as convenient, but definitely just as easy to use overall. So definitely something to consider is a nice tow rope and you know, a shackle, and that's probably the best place to be towing someone from instead of trying to use bumpers or whatever. So definitely good stuff to have right here with your tools. A good pair of gloves, especially when you're dealing with winches and stuff like that. Sometimes they fray and they give you a nasty poke, and no one ever really enjoys that. So, and then obviously your fuel jerrys. For myself, I'm bringing mixed fuel for my chainsaw and some 93 for the bike. But I mean, these are things that, you know, you pack away and you make sure you have on you, and when you're getting the bike ready, take a look around and pack up nice and tight, you know what I mean? So when you're out on the trail, you can help your friends and help yourself. I know, especially with these bikes, they're pretty notorious. If they're not broken, you're pulling somebody out, so it's something to get used to for sure. Because out on the trail, some things can happen to you, like my buddy of mine, last time we went out for a ride there, he had his secondary blow off, and that's something we've been dealing with quite a bit. He's upgraded now, so we're going to rebuild these and keep them as spares. And this is one of his better scenarios. It cracked out the side, and he caught it in time on this one, but the time before that it actually blew a hole in the case. So you got to watch for stuff like that, because next thing you know, you've got springs like this guy here that come out at you, and obviously this isn't much of a spring anymore, but I like to keep it just as a little reminder when people ask me, you know, what's it like to have a XMR or similar style bikes. Problems like this happen no matter what, new or old or whatever have you. They're meant to be played with, and you get in the mud and these things happen. So something to consider is you know, having your gear and making sure that you've got all your little pieces, and it makes your day on the trail a little bit easier. Thanks, guys.